Welcome to Retired to Ride. Join us today on a winter sunshine ride. You can see where we live in the south of Spain on this map, and this map more or less is the route for today. So starting point is Mazaron, and we're off. There's 3 bikes today. Brenda and myself on the 700 Honda Deauville or Dullesville, the NT700V. There's Guy on a new Honda 750 Transalp, and Chris and Pat on a 1300 ST Pan-European. We're heading across the fields towards Totana. Up towards the left-hand side of the Sierra Espuna, which you can see ahead of us. Circumventing around Totana, then we're going to hit the road that heads towards Aledo and the Monastery, which hopefully will be our first coffee stop. The road from Totana to Aledo is a beautiful mountain road with lots of bends. The winter sun is shining upon us, and temperatures now around about 12 degrees. Usually on a Sunday there are a lot more cyclists on this road, so I'm quite pleased we've only seen one. The 700 Deauville does very well with or without a passenger. It's actually remarkably good with a passenger for a smaller or mid-capacity bike. Brenda the honey badger catches a good shot of Guy on the 750 Transalp, Ben swinging along behind us. I think Chris and Pat have got stuck behind a car somewhere. The monastery appears on our right-hand side. It is now a hotel, but it's still a place of worship as well, quite significantly so for the local population. Anyway, in we go, and let's hope we get some coffee. As you can see, Guy is right behind us, but I think Chris and Pat still stuck behind a car on the mountain road. They know where they're going, so no worries. As we pull in, Chris and Pat appear on that wonderful sounding 1300 Pan-European. Aledo, time for coffee. As we get off the bikes, we notice some South American families here. I think they're here to do a photo shoot in traditional dress. It's very interesting. The kids are all dressed up and excited. I'm making a presumption about the photo shoot, but the monastery gardens are used quite often for major family events, such as weddings. Anyway, something colourful and interesting adding to our day. And then we pop over to the monastery, and there's the old church, which has some pretty interesting artwork in it, and the monastery gardens, which I mentioned earlier. We then go to look for the coffee shop, which unfortunately today is closed. So we regroup. Plan B, we're going to head to the little town of Aledo, the top of the mountain. Which means another idyllic piece of mountain road to ride. As you can see, it's a wonderful piece of road, and we're just mooching along and keeping it nice and loosey-goosey. Out with our friends, people like-minded on bikes, in the sunshine, perfect. As we round this bend, we can see Aledo, the town, on the outcrop on the left-hand side. It's quite scenic along here. There's a castle in Aledo which was started to be built in the 11th century. And I think at the time it was a Moorish castle. And in the last years of that century, the king, Alfonso VI of Leon and Castile, started to conquer back the territories under Muslim rule. In the year 1086, Aledo was taken. Brenda and I are both enjoying this NT700V Honda. It's a very comfortable place to be on this bike. Entering Aledo, and very conveniently, opposite the two cafes at the start of the town, is some motorbike parking. How good is that? So we park the bikes up and we go inside the cafe, the first cafe, for tostada and coffee and a bit of a chinwag. Outside on the gravel car park are a couple of old-timer Mercedes cars. They're pretty impressive. After a good coffee and tostada and a bit of a catch-up, we're back on the bikes, and now we're going to be heading cross-country towards Parroquia de Totana.
What direction? Down? Over there?
Leaving Aledo, temperatures now round about 15 degrees. The Sierra Espuna looms up on our right-hand side, but we're going to be going left here, across country. Heading out now onto the open road, and I think it's time for some suitable Spanish music. The ride is turning out to meet all my expectations for the day. It's sunny, it's warm, it's wonderful roads, and it's traffic free. As you no doubt can see, December in Spain is still good for riding bikes. At a rough guess, I'd say we're going to cover around about somewhere between 230 and 250 kilometers today. One of the reasons we've chosen this particular stretch of road is that the far end of it has been resurfaced recently, whereas before it was a bit of a lumpy, bumpy old track. Now it's a smooth, perfect piece of tarmac. The three bikes stretched out lots of distance between us on this undulating, snaking piece of tarmac. Wonderful. Mountain range appears in the distance as we make our way closer to Parroquia de Totana. I think I said that right. We're not far from there now, and we're going to take a left and go across country again to Sarcia de Ramos. Our red Honda with its liquid-cooled V-twin 680cc engine just purrs along at this sort of rate. We're sticking to the speed limit, so 90 kilometers an hour. A big shout out of appreciation to Brenda the honey badger for her camera work on the bike. I think it's very interesting not to have the camera in a static position, but the ability to go 360 and see what's going on all around us. Well done, honey badger. We're now approaching the outskirts of Parroquia de Totana. Having taken the left turn just before we reach Parroquia de Totana, we're now heading cross-country towards Sarcia de Ramos. Our expectation of this road we're on now is more scenic wonderfulness. We're in an area of vast shrubland and agriculture. We should be seeing some fruit and nut tree orchards or groves as we're riding along. And of course, we should be seeing some spectacular mountain ranges, particularly as we get closer to Sarcia de Ramos. We have recently fitted some new tyres to the bike, and they're Bridgestone tyres. I must say, I'm pretty impressed with them. You also may have noticed I'm not using the phone as a sat-nav today. I'm hoping that I know where I'm going. We're getting closer now to Sarcia de Ramos. It's a good restaurant there, but we're not stopping there today. We'll be taking a left towards La Parroquia. And Sarcia de Ramos, we know a guy there, Jose, who's a fireman. And we know his brother too, he's called Hose B. We're now on the flat plains between the mountains. It's a very agricultural area, but these flat plains always remind me of that English pronunciation exercise where you say, the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. Or, the water in Mallorca doesn't taste quite like it ought to. Or the water in Majorca don't taste like what it ought to. Anyway, I think you can see it's quite a scenic stretch of road. Heading down now into a rambler, and we're always a bit cautious because of residue from recent rain across the road. But it's all clear and we meander along up the other side. Another rambler coming up, so we slow down again, but again, it's all clear. Just so you know, it's not unusual in these rural parts of Spain to find these empty roads. We can ride for hours sometimes and only see 3 or 4 cars. Oh, and some sheep too. We arrive in the little place La Parroquia, and from here we're heading towards Lorca. On the 11th of May in 2011, the city of Lorca was seriously damaged by a magnitude 5.1 earthquake. This killed at least 9 people. And apparently, due to a shallow hypocenter, the earthquake was much more destructive than usual for earthquakes of a similar magnitude. Also, interestingly, archaeological excavations in the Lorca area revealed that it has been inhabited continuously since Neolithic times, 5,500 years ago. The city is home to Lorca Castle, which is quite spectacular. And in the Middle Ages, Lorca was a frontier city between Christian and Muslim Spain. now wandering along Main Street of Lorca, and we're heading towards a place called Purias, I think I said that right, on the other side of Lorca, to the Parroquia restaurant, where we're going to have some lunch.
Yeah, some pizzas there. Brenda, your pizza looks big. Awesome, huh?
A fabulous lunch, all for well under 20 euros a head. And as you can see, Pat really enjoyed hers. So, that's about it for our sunny Sunday winter ride. Here's a map showing you in more detail the route from today. And we hope you've enjoyed sharing the day with us, and maybe you'll come back and watch another video soon.